Hey guys, welcome back to another of my vlogs reviewing GARO Chapter the Black Wolf. We're at episode 2 now. Sorry for the delay with my work schedule. Sometimes I'm probably not going to be able to get them like day after day. I'm going to try to be a little bit better. I can't promise much there. So anyway, getting into the episode. This episode is about Kaoru trying to get money because as a starving artist, she has no money. And so tries to make money using this lady who's clearly a get-rich scheme. And to make matters worse, she got possessed by a horror and wants to eat her, particularly because of the fact that in the previous episode, she had been bathed in the blood of a horror. And humans that have been bathed in the blood of a horror are especially delicious to horrors. So yeah, that's the basic plot of this episode. It's kind of simple, but really it's just basically there to establish Kaoru as a character. We also get to see Koga's boss, or rather, like, the boss that's, like, in between, known as the Watchdogs, and their servant Kodama. And he goes there to basically purify his blade of the horror and seal it inside a ceremonial dagger that will be sent to the Makai realm. As stated... Sorry, my phone just vibrated. Horrors cannot feed on... Horrors cannot be destroyed. They can only be sealed. As they are just basically entities created from humans' dark intent. And they are sealed and sent to the Makai realm until the seal comes undone again. Which is kind of depressing, but, you know, that's their life. On the bright side, they have information on every single horror ever hunted. So, you know, it works out. We also get to see how horrors get into our realm through these things called gates. In particular, this one comes out of a gate that looks like a chain scarecrow, or at least a bunch of chains on like a metal cross in a junkyard. Not much to talk about the lady. She's a basic con artist. She doesn't really get a lot of interesting development. She's basically just there to be an antithesis to Kaoru in this episode. I do like her design. I like the way she eats humans by throwing chains out of her mouth that stab into her victim, and then they become like chain spaghetti and then get swallowed up by her. It's kind of cool, and I like her Iron Maiden look that she has as a horror. So yeah. And there's a lot of good action moments with that. Koga in particular gets to have a lot of fun. We also get to see more banter between him and Zaruba, unlike in the first episode, particularly in the fact that he clearly knows that Koga cares more about this girl than he lets on. And this also becomes a really big beginning trend of Kaoru in this series getting a job or needing money, because again, she's a starving artist. In this episode, she believes that this person will be able to give her like 100% more, like 100 times her money after like a year, which she can. It's a pyramid scheme. Like later, you see that like the lady was put in the news and that she, you know, is a deceitful woman. So yeah, but it's a recurring theme where she will either have a job that gets her near a horror, or she will end up working for a horror, and it will try to kill her. Like, I mean, it's one thing that, like, these horrors do seem to come after her because of the fact that she has been stained with the blood of a horror. But it's really ridiculous when she just goes to a random job and, like, she'll just get in trouble with a horror. But it's not so bad here. Like, here it's more bad luck. Like, it'll get weirder as, like, the series progresses. I'm thinking particularly an episode later down the line where it'll be kind of dumb. But, you know, it's what it is. There's not really a lot here. We get to meet Kaoru's landlord and her friend that will only be in like a couple episodes, both of them. And they play no part of the show. They're just there to be there to show that Kaoru has a life outside of like the weird stuff that happens to her. Yeah. Oh, we do get there's a scene during when he goes to the Watchdogs, Koga. he gets a mission to take out the horror that's after. Sorry, I had curry for lunch. Uh, yeah, like they give him his new orders on the horror that's after Kaoru. Well, she's not after Kaoru yet, but she does, and um, they tell him to be careful with the fact that he's wanting to use the woman as Kaoru as bait, and that they don't want him to end up like his father. And he gets really defensive of that. That was an interesting thing. I forgot that they brought that up this early, but that will play a somewhat larger role down the line, especially when we get to the episode that gives us Koga's backstory. But yeah, it's a good episode. It's not really fillerish because it does do themes based on Kaoru's character, and that of like having like a story, like a parable, like a lot of early Garo and particularly episodes that don't really move the plot along are there to give us little character tidbits. Like in this one, the horror preys on those who want money and are greedy. And, Koga even thinks that money is a dangerous drug, that it's foolish that people, like, let themselves get possessed or devoured by horrors for that kind of money. My face looks really weird. It's probably just the camera. Yeah, it's probably just the camera. I'm a little perturbed. But anyway, and, like, Koga even, like, points out that, like, this woman thinks that the small amount of money that Kaoru could get was worthless and just a drop in the bucket. She even says that it's a drop in the bucket. But, Koga, like, even states, like, that money is pure. She wants it to accomplish her dreams, and I'm not going to let you stomp on that. And it's an interesting thing, I don't think it's as important, because it really doesn't go into the fact of the dangers of really wanting money. I think the next episode, which, when we do get to, is one of my favorites. I really, really like that episode, and I think it's a little bit scarier and has a much more interesting parable to it than You Should Be Careful About Being Greedy with Money. I mean, granted, this is an adult toku show, so I think that's a fairly decent moral to talk to adults. And especially when you're doing horror parables, like to take things that we take for granted and make it scary, kind of works. I don't think it's really scary here. I think it's more just an interesting parable. But otherwise, it's not a bad episode. It's kind of forgettable. I think if you wanted to skip it, you can. It's not really important to the plot. It's basically just, once again, more setup for the story. But yeah, no, I think it's really good. It has some decent action, and I think it's a good little story for Kaoru, and I think it furthers along her relationship with Koga, but not really doing much otherwise, other than hinting at stuff that's going to come down the line. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop it here. I don't think it's as important as the first episode, because again, the first episode, sets everything up. But it's a decent episode. I just don't think it's as important, because once again, it's basically filler. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. It's going to be probably a little bit shorter than the last couple videos I did, but I think as we go, it's going to probably be that way unless I think the episode's really good or it has a really important plot element to it. So yeah, that's my review of Garo, Chapter of the Black Wolf, Episode 2. I think it was good, a little bit just fillery, but yeah. Next up, we'll be watching Episode 3, which I think is going to be a lot more to talk about, and has one of my more favorite horrors in Morlocks. Well, I actually kind of know his name, so yeah. And I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye!